Section 4, we had a couple questions. One of these was this: what was the mandate of heaven? How did the Zhou dynasty use it to justify overthrowing the Shang dynasty? Right. So you still have to remember the Shang dynasty, even though we talked about them in the previous section. But remember, it's alphabetical order. It's Shang, Zhou. They're both Chinese dynasties. And there was this idea that heaven was like a high god. It's kind of like God, but not a monotheistic God, if that makes sense, because the Chinese believe in lots of gods. But it's like the high god. And the high god cares about humanity. High god is benevolent. And so wants the best family, the most moral family to rule China, because China is the center of the world, center of the universe. The early term for China was all under heaven. Right? So they saw themselves really as the center. So the ruler of all under heaven was chosen by heaven to rule. We would say that that ruler had received heaven's mandate. That ruler had received the mandate of heaven. That ruler is appointed in order to be in charge. And that's how the Zhou justified overthrowing the Shang. The Shang, the Zhou said, had initially had the mandate of heaven, but their emperor started behaving badly. Right? The Shang had begun to behave badly. Heaven had sent omens like comets and eclipses to warn the Shang, hey, you guys aren't behaving well, you need to shape up, or something bad's going to happen, and they didn't. And then that allowed the Zhou to justify overthrowing the Shang. They lost the mandate of heaven, they misbehaved, so we're overthrowing them. The fact that we succeeded, the fact that we, Zhou, succeeded in overthrowing the Shang, proves that we received the mandate of heaven. Because we could not have succeeded in overthrowing them without heaven's help. Right? But the basic idea is that a dynasty is chosen by heaven to rule because heaven is good, but they start doing a bad job and become immoral and corrupt, someone else can overthrow them, and then those people receive the mandate of heaven. What did Sun Tzu teach? Oh, that's an interesting word. About that would help to unify China. What were the characteristics of his teachings? Right? So Sun Tzu, remember, he's the guy that wrote The Art of War. And his focus was on how you need a strong military to unify China. Now, he's not the only teacher in that section. There's other teachers as well. But that's what his emphasis was on, right? He's going to teach the Chinese how to build a strong army that would be able to unify China. And do you remember, we watched a video clip about him. Who was he trying to teach how to fight in that video clip? The concubines. He was trying to teach these palace women. And it's questionable whether that story actually happened or not. But the key truth behind it was his idea that you could train anyone to be a soldier. Right? Anyone, through discipline and hard work and proper training and leadership, can become a soldier. Right? That's one of his central ideas. Right? Anyone can become a soldier if they're trained properly. And believe it or not, that's connected to this other question people had. That was section 4. Right? And one thing I just want to highlight, I'll just go ahead and do it for this section as well. During his time period, China was developing mass armies, gigantic armies that were not made simply up of aristocrats who were riding in chariots, but armies made up of peasants who often had very limited training. That's why he emphasized, these aristocrats had grown up learning how to fight their whole lives. These peasants did not. So that's why he emphasizes training. Right? I've got a few days to get these peasants into shape. I need to be strict with them. I need to be disciplined with them. If I do that, they can become effective warriors. So keep that in mind.